so much, but people didn't know it. I was drinking so much alcohol. I was drinking so much hard liquor. Every night I would stay flashing drunk. We literally had a freaking thing on our refrigerator that said Monday margarita day, Tuesday something stupid day, whatever it was. And I would stay so drunk that I would have to wake up on the mornings I would go to college, or the mornings I would go to work, and drink a beer or Smirnoff or something so I would not be puking my guts out all day long at school. And people didn't know it, and that was the thing that drove me crazy, is because you think that it's okay, and you have people tell you as teenagers, you're supposed to go through this stage, you're supposed to go through these partying stages, but you're not. That's why alcohol has a level of 21 years old. That's why you have to be 21 years old to buy alcohol. That's why you have to be 19 years old to buy vapor, to buy cigarettes. That's why you shouldn't be buying pot unless you have cancer. I mean, that's why they have these things, because you are not supposed to be doing this stuff. And because you get stupid 19-year-old girls that look for these stupid boys to fill their heart when they don't need it. So for the next 9 months were a blur. I spent all of my time drunk. I spent all of my time doing pot. And I don't care what you say, pot is just grass, I get it. But pot leads to you dripping acid. Pot leads to you snorting cocaine. Pot leads to you doing this. And I'm not a pot hater, I'm going to tell you that. If it becomes for medicinal purposes and people need it, go ahead. But you can tell me all day long it's not a gateway drug. It is. Because there was a time where I went to a party and I smoked pot and I drank it and then I dropped acid and never thought I would do it. And there was a time that I went to a party and I was drunk and I was so high that I got in the car with 5 other kids and was in an accident for drunk driving. And that's what that crap makes you do. And thank God that I'm still here. So 9 months of this, I was going through this, and it ended up being Halloween. And I had gotten so messed up Halloween night that I don't remember anything except for November 1st, which was my dad's birthday. And I woke up, and I was still in my Halloween costume, and the first thought that I had was, oh my God, how am I not dead? Because I don't remember anything from that night. This was back in the day, before we had cameras on our cell phones. And so didn't know where my camera was, didn't know where my cell phone was, didn't know where my keys were, didn't know where my work keys were, I knew where nothing was. I didn't know how I was alive at this point. My body hurt, my body ached, and the only thing that the people that were around me were telling me, and this is another thing you guys have to remember, is the people around me were telling me that it was okay. It's okay to do this. Like, this is what we do. You're 19, you're about to be 20 years old, you're in college. This is what you're supposed to be doing. Here, have another drink. Take another hit, you'll be fine. And that's exactly what I did the very next night. I got so sloppy drunk that I remember crying my eyes out and thinking, why am I doing this? Like, what is wrong with me? And I remember laying there thinking, you know what? If I would stop doing these things and just get a boyfriend. This is how stupid I was. If I would stop doing these things and get a boyfriend. And I know that some of you girls, because you're in my small group, you're that dumb too. And I love y'all. And I love y'all, but y'all are that dumb. Because guess what? Unless your boyfriend is leading you to Christ instead of to a house party, you don't need it. So the next thing I did, the very next weekend, is I go to a party, because that's where you make good boys. I go to a party, and I was 19 years old, and I met a 27-year-old man who was married. And I was thinking, y'all, this is it. This is it. But he told me he was married. So I said, when you dump your wife, you call me, because I was a dumb kid. I had turned 20. I know all things now. 20. Out of my teens, I'm smart. So in January, we've upgraded to picture phones, by the way. In January, this man sent me a picture text of his divorce papers. And guess where I was the next weekend? With this 27-year-old man at his mom and daddy's house, where they grew marijuana in the attic. And I thought, because this is a serious relationship, this is good. This is good. Now I'm only spending time with one person on the weekends instead of multiple people. So I went through this. We dated for 10 months, and in the meantime, Eric and I talked. Eric's a lot better than I am. And I'm so mean to him sometimes, and I know I'm just getting with him, but I tell all the time, thank God for Eric Kramer, even though I hate his guts. Thank God for you, even though I'm yelling at you and pull your chest hair and all because that year, we talked on the phone when I was dating this 27-year-old fool, and he told me on the phone, I'm never going to date a girl that drinks or smokes or that does drugs or that says cuss words or does any of these bad things. But you know what he did 6 months later? After I blew him off 3 times? Twice. He came to my house and he picked me up on a date. Right before that, I had found out this man that I was dating. And this kind of ties into where you guys are at these days, because back then, social media was picking up. This was in 2009. Social media was starting to be a big thing. Facebook was a thing. Craigslist was real big. 2 weeks before I went on my first date with Eric, the man that I had been dating, the man who's almost 30, that lived with his parents, had put an ad out on Craigslist for me and for him. Meaning, people traffic you. People want to use you for different things, and that's big now. And that's going to happen, and it's scary. And thank God that I was away from that. Eric and I, we went out, and he was the first guy who ever opened the car door for me. He awkwardly pushed his sleeves up, and I hate this so bad. And if some of you guys are like this, I'm sorry, but I hate it. Thank you for that. He pushed his sleeves up awkwardly. It was really weird. But as soon as he left, I called my papa, who's my favorite person in the world, and I said, that's the person I'm going to marry. Because he's the first person that, even though I was in all this crap over here, he was the first person besides Mama to take me for who I am. And that I didn't have to replace drugs, and I didn't have to replace alcohol, and I didn't have to have sex with for them to like me, because he cared for me, and I don't know why. We got married. We got engaged 6 months later. We got married a year after that on my mom's 45th anniversary. And the entire first year of our marriage sucked. It was so bad. Because
it was rough.
Because he was such a good guy. And I was such trash. I mean, I'm kind of trashy now, but not that bad. And it was to the point where he would be in bed at night, and I would sneak out and go to the bar and hang out and be drunk and get home at 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, well, yeah, look, what's up? I've been asleep all night. Really, I haven't. And I thought that was the norm because I was raised that way. I was raised that I needed all of these additional things to make me happy, but in the end, I figured it out. But not then. And we went through that, and life was crappy for a minute, and I hated being married, and he stuck around for some reason. I think it's because I had a free house. That's what it was.
That's exactly.
I knew it. That's what it was. A free house with Huntland. I knew it. So, we ended up married in 2011. In 2012, I woke up and I was like, what am I doing? Like, why am I so miserable? And y'all are going to laugh at me when I tell you this. This is super embarrassing, but literally this is what got me thinking of salvation. In 2012, everyone thought the world was going to end. Because of, what was it? The Mayan calendar. So, everyone thought the world was going to end. I literally was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm about to die and go to hell. And I had a come to Jesus meeting with God, and my papa had given me this Bible, and I opened it up and I read the story of Job. And I was like, I was not dealt the best cards. But you know what? Some people are dealt a lot worse. Just like Hunter and Weston were talking about their sisters. I'm sure when you met your sisters, they smiled. And they were sweet and they were happy. Even though they were in pure poverty. And here I was, my mom was kind of sucky, and my dad really didn't care about me. But I had great grandparents. And I had a great life. And I lived in a place to where I could do what I needed to and I could worship how I pleased. But instead I was choosing this path with temporary happiness. And that's what these things that you're doing are. And that's what I want y'all to understand the biggest is, yes, I was saved. In 2012, I took a shower like 3 days before the world was supposed to end, and I was crying to God, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm such a piece of crap, will you please save me? Don't send me to hell with my calendar. That's literally how I got saved. But I really did get saved, so amen to that. So we're trucking along. One of the things that happened to me, I ended up having like a surgery, a day surgery before Eric and I met, and I was told, it would be very hard for me to have kids because of something that happened. And a year later, I got pregnant, and that was a shock. I remember the day I found out I was pregnant was 2 months after I found out Amber was pregnant, Stella. And I sent her 2 pictures, I'll never forget this. One was a pregnancy test positive, the other was this giant zit on my face. And I thought, oh my God, I just didn't take her zit picture, that's weird. But I never wanted kids. I never wanted kids because I never wanted the life that I was living to, I never wanted to be who I was raised by. I always wanted to be better. So from that moment on, even though I didn't want this child, and I'm so thankful that I did get to keep it, this is pretty cool. But I promised myself and I prayed every day that I'm not going to be like that. I'm going to be better. I'm going to do better for him. I'm going to be the best mom I can be. Eric's going to be the best dad. He's going to have the best life. And then 2015 came along, which was another really crappy year. In 2015, Eric and I just lost our freaking minds. Because sometimes as adults, we do that. Because here I am, a bipolar person that didn't know I had bipolar. And I've used all of my ways to feel this mental illness. I've done all of these things. I depended on alcohol, I depended on drugs, I depended on all of these different things, and now I don't know what to do with my mind because my mind is going 90 to nothing all the time and it's telling me you're not good enough, you're a piece of crap, yes you're saved, but who cares if you're saved because you're still on this earth and you still suck. All day long, that's what I was hearing. So I decided, you know what, maybe I should be alone. And I told Eric I was going to leave him. Not because of anything he had done, but because I was messed up. And he tried to be the voice of reason. He went to friends, he went to family. He's like, something's wrong. She's not herself, something's wrong. So nobody listened to him. In 2015, Eric got saved. And that should have been the start of everything that was good. And it got better. In 2016, I finally went to a doctor and I was diagnosed as manic depressive. Meaning that I would have low lows and then I would have highs. But I was mostly having lows. And then a year later, after I was put on medicine and I was thinking everything's going to be good, we come to Temple for Easter service. We come to Temple for Easter service, I fall in love with this church. We come back 2 weeks later and Malcolm Carter does a series called Battlefield of the Mind. And at that time I surrendered my entire life to God and I changed. I was a different person because now I knew, okay, you have a problem. It's okay to have problems. And what we're going to do with our problems is we're not going to self-medicate anymore. We're not going to medicate with drugs, alcohol, and sex. We're not going to medicate with overspending money and overbuying things and things. We're going to medicate with just Jesus. Good. But there's a difference in medicating with Jesus and medicating yourself with church, which is what I was doing. I threw myself into this church hardcore because I love this church and I love every person in this room. But if you're coming here just to chill, you're here for the wrong reason. Because there's a reason why we all gather here. And there's a reason why we're supposed to be here. My reason I'm supposed to be here is to tell you that when you receive salvation, that doesn't mean perfection on this earth. That doesn't mean I lead your small group because I'm perfect. It means I lead your small group because every day I'm a piece of crap and I know it. But I have a God that gives me grace and He gives me mercy. And He knows that there are still days where I struggle and I want to drink so bad. And there's days that I would love to just go have just a long time and just be by myself. But I know that I have a God that loves me more than that. And last year, my depression really peaked. Last year, my father, he was the only person in this world that I could ever imagine that I thought he would be here forever because he loved me so much. And he was my person I went to for everything. And I told Eric, I said, I want to go into the crowd with him and I don't want to be here anymore. Because after all the things that I had done, he finally figured out, I finally admitted to him and my mom everything that I had done. And he still loved me. I don't know why. So I my 5-year-old came up to me and said, Mom, it's okay. And this is the way that we're supposed to think. We're supposed to have faith like a child. Because that baby comes up to me and he says, Mom, it's okay. He's with his mom, he's with his dad, he's with his brothers, and you don't have to be sad. But there's part of me, and I know we are the same way, that I'm holding on so much to the flesh of this earth. And I don't have to. I don't have to get acceptance from anyone in this room. I don't have to get acceptance from my mom or from my dad or from my husband. The only acceptance I need is from Jesus Christ. And when he died, I lost myself. I have had days since I've been saved where I would peak in my depression. I would go home, and not too long ago, I was sitting on my couch squalling, picking, because I'm a picker. Everybody has their relationships, I'm a picker. Picking at my head, picking at my face, scratching and hitting, and just wanting to not be here anymore. And there's something to be said about wanting to die so bad, about wanting to be left for this earth and not wanting to be here anymore, but staying. And not staying because I want to, but staying for Ezra, and staying for Ezra and Eric, and staying here for all of y'all. Because that's the second thing I thought of after my family was, who would be here for these kids? And I don't think that y'all understand when we get up here and we tell y'all things like this, it's because we want to save you from this sin. We want God to save you from this sin. I was saved out of sin. Let my sin that I did, let me being drunk, let me smoking weed, and let me being hooking up and doing all these things I did, let me be the person that did that for you. Because I have a Savior who carried a cross for me because of the stupid crap I did, and so do you. Every one of you were on God's mind when Jesus Christ was sent to this earth to die. And I know it sounds cliche, and I know some of y'all are sitting here thinking right now, you're just a dumb 30-year-old who's just been through it and had a bad childhood. But no, I'm telling you right now, there's nothing in this world worth treading this line between heaven and hell. Nothing. There's nothing. There's no party, there's no alcohol, there's no drugs, there's nothing. And there's going to be a day, because we live in a world that is all about flesh versus the spirit. And there's going to be the day, whether you're there or not, whether you're saved or not, there's going to be a day where it comes down to it, and you're going to have to choose. And you're going to get your mind so wrapped up in whatever you're doing in this flesh that you have a day where you're sitting there and you're thinking, on this line, do I want to die? Do I want to die? And if you let this world take over you, you're going to die. And I hate to say that. I hate to say that I signed at a 16-year-old's funeral because all she wanted to do was go to a party and get hit by a car. And people don't think about that. You don't think that you have repercussions in what you're doing. And you know, you think it's just a little. I'm just going to send this text. I'm just going to send a sext. I'm just going to do just a little. But I promise you, when you're doing just a little of the world, it's going to get bigger. And it's going to get bigger. And it's going to get bigger. And there's going to be a time where you're going to need a Lord and Savior, because you need somebody bigger than this earth. You need somebody bigger than your mom and dad. You need somebody bigger than your small group leader. Because I'm going to tell you, that day that I sat on my couch 2 months ago and cried my eyes out and wanted to die, he couldn't save me. Ezra Kramer couldn't save me. Not one person in this room could have saved me, but thank God God did. Because he let me know that I was worthy. And he let me know that even though I put all this crap behind me, and I still use it in my mind, he let me know that I'm worthy, and I'm so worth so much more than what I've done in the past. And every one of you are too. And you may have made a mistake yesterday. You may have put your idolizing into something yesterday. You may have sent a nasty text before you walked in this church, but you know what? It's okay, because you can come to this altar tonight and you can ask God for forgiveness, and you can walk out here with a clean slate. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't get. And that's a lot of that's the main reason I wanted to give you my testimony tonight. tonight because I was not a good church kid. I was not that kid that was brought to church every weekend, and it sucks. I wish that I was that kid that their mom looked through their stuff. I wish that I was that kid that had a curfew. I wish that I was that kid that their mom and dad bugged them to death about where they're at or what they're doing, because you don't know what it feels like to be the other kid. But some of you do. I know that there's one back there in the back that I talked to multiple times about this, and to see her transition go through from where I was to where she is now is the biggest thing to me, because we love y'all. We love you more than you can ever imagine. And all we want for you is to not have to go through the pain that we went through. So, I want y'all to think about that, and I want y'all to realize that you are worthy. And then I want you to know that when you do get to those times, and when you get to those places that are dark, because this world is so dark, guys. I know it myself. I mean, I still especially you girls, it's so hard to see what you go through. How you compare yourself to other people around you, even you guys, how you feel like you have to have this masculinity about you, and how you have to have this persona that you don't have to have. Because at the end of the day, we're all the same. Girls and guys, we're all children of Christ. And there's nothing going to ever be more than that. And like I said a second ago, I know y'all can look at me and think, whatever. And some of you may be doing that. Some of you may be looking at me and thinking, you're just up here because you go to church and this is what you're supposed to do. I'm going to tell you something right now. I didn't go to church my entire life. I went to church because I wanted to, because I wanted to get closer to the person that made me, the person that saved me. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't know me outside of church, you know that I don't want to do what I don't do. You know that if I don't hang out with you, I'm going to sleep through it. You know that if I don't want to talk to you, I'm not going to talk to you. That's just how I am. But I'm here to tell you right now, you have a God that loves you so much that He will pull you out of whatever you're in. He's going to pull you through anything that you go through. And if you feel any sense of remorse, any sense of pain, any sense of hurting, if you feel depression, if you feel anxious, if you feel like you are not secured by your eternal life, more so than your worldly life, then that's what we're here. And that's what my story is for tonight. My story is not to tell you that I was a piece of crap and now I'm a better piece of crap. Because at the end of the day, I'm not perfect. I don't try to be perfect. Like I told y'all before, I sin every day. You can ask him. Sometimes I say bad words to him. I mean, it sucks being not perfect. But you know what? I have a Savior that is. And I have a Savior that wants to make sure through my story that every one of you in here gets to meet Him with me one day. And that's what I pray over every one of you guys. So, thanks for listening. That was it. That's my story.